This is going to be a positive campaign that seeks to bring out the very best from every single one of us, that seeks to unite.
Texan Beto O'Rourke finally making it official.
The promises he's making as he jumps into an already crowded race for the Democratic nomination for president, and the biggest challenges facing the El Paso native now. It's
perhaps the worst kept secret on the campaign trail, but today former Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke announced a White House run on Twitter. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ken Molestina.
And I'm Gilma Avalos. Political reporter Jack Fink joins us in studio now. And Jack, it had really gotten to a point of when, not if, he would enter the race.
Well, that's right, Gilma and Ken. This has certainly been building to today's announcement. If Beto O'Rourke wasn't running for president, he wouldn't have done an interview with Oprah Winfrey, held a counter rally to President Donald Trump in El Paso, and do a cover story with Vanity Fair. And now the former congressman from El Paso is taking a page from his nearly successful campaign for U.S. Senate here in Texas.
Everyone is important to me. No one can be spoken for, no one can be written off, and no one can be taken for granted.
O'Rourke kicked off his campaign for president in Iowa, the first state to hold a caucus or a primary. Analysts say the pressure is on now for him to raise a lot of money quickly, just like he did in his race against Senator Ted Cruz. He's the second Texas Democrat to join the race following Julian Castro, the former San Antonio mayor and HUD secretary for President Obama. O'Rourke spoke in small personal settings today, and retail politics in Iowa is key. Shaking hands, talking to people, answering their questions. That's what O'Rourke did in all 254 counties in Texas, an experience he mentioned.
The place is so reliably red that Democrats fear to tread, and therefore Republicans don't have to show up because there's no competition at the end of the day. I want to show up everywhere for everyone.
He was speaking about the perils that our country faces, and even though it may seem dark and divided, this could be our greatest moment to come together. And I think there's a lot of Americans waiting for that message.
Even though O'Rourke announced his campaign on a video that played on social media this morning, and he's campaigning in Iowa today, he did say he will have a formal kickoff rally in his hometown of El Paso on March 30th.
Long list of hopefuls for the Democrats right now, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Where does he fit in all of this, you think, and who's his biggest challenger, Jack?
Well, I think O'Rourke is certainly a top-tier candidate in this race, and that's because of his charisma, his nearly unseating Ted Cruz, and his ability to raise money. But he still must beat Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, who's also raised a lot of money and remains popular in his own right. California Senator Kamala Harris, who many believe had a very smooth rollout, and she's from another big state, the biggest, California. Not to mention Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren and New Jersey Senator Cory Booker. And then, of course, there's so much evidence that former Vice President Joe Biden is going to get into the race. Lots of big names, lots of choices for Democrats to consider who in the end should take on President Trump.
Right.
And coming up at 6 o'clock, we're going to take a look at what Beto O'Rourke said today about the issues.
Okay, Jack, we'll see you then. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Well, you know, when asked about O'Rourke's White House run, President Donald Trump didn't attack his policy, but rather his hand gestures.
I think he's got a lot of hand movement. I've never seen so much hand movement. I said, is he crazy or is that just the way he acts? So I've never seen hand movement. I watched him a little while this morning doing, I assume it was some kind of a news conference, and I've actually never seen anything quite like it. Study it. I'm sure you'll agree.
O'Rourke had nothing to say about the president's comments, saying people want him to rise above the pettiness.